Hello, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Wolt, and I'm editor-in-chief of Chain Drug Review and Mass Market Retailers. Welcome to our video forum. Today, our guest is Alec Gourlay, Co-Chief Operating Officer of Walgreens Boots Alliance. Alec, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff. Good to be with you.
Thank you. Obviously, there's a lot going on at WBA these days, and I'd like to ask you about some of the recent developments. You announced a major deal with VillageMD that will put 500 to 700 physicians' offices in Walgreens stores. Maybe you can talk a little bit about what that will mean, how it will advance neighborhood healthcare by combining a doctor's practice with a pharmacy practice.
Sure, Jeff. We're really excited by this announcement, and it's been 3 or 4 years in the making because we started tests, pilots, effectively 3 or 4 years ago. First of all, urgent care, then moved more into senior primary care, and we've tested more recently this model with VillageMD. And I think what it does, as you said rightly, it puts together the doctor and the pharmacist, both physically and importantly digitally. Given, of course, the crisis we're now in, the ability of patients to be able to access healthcare professionals and solutions through digital assets is incredibly important. Secondly, I think we really like the model of VillageMD because they truly work to improve care and reduce costs. And they incentivize the doctors in an appropriate way through technology and information to do that. And therefore they move from fee-for-service to more health outcome contracts as a result of that. So I think, as we look forward to creating our neighborhood health destination around a more modern pharmacy, which is one of our 4 key priorities for our group and therefore for Walgreens, this is absolutely mission critical.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the virtual and, as I understand it, in-home health services that are part of this partnership?
Sure. VillageMD, as I said before, bring a great technology with them, including virtual doctors, and also as a patient through that approach with the app, you can have a doctor come to your home if that's what's required, or else you can do it through telepresence, as we're doing today. Or you can come and see them, of course, in a doctor's office. So that's very much part of the capability they have brought to us. In addition to that, of course, we have Find Care, which has been in the marketplace for around 2 years. As we said in our recent earnings results, we've seen a 14-fold increase in people using Find Care in the last 12 months. As part of that platform, that marketplace for healthcare, obviously doctor visits digitally have become very, very popular. So therefore, you can imagine by putting together these 2 assets, it brings together a very popular Find Care platform with their platform and expands our capacity to help patients during this crisis.
And is there a telepharmacy piece to this as well, or is it just the physician practice that's?
No, absolutely. No, we have pharmacy chat already on Find Care. And therefore, as we work with VillageMD, we're working to put that on there as well. Again, it's a very important part of the offer that we're developing. Yeah.
And one last question on this. You're working with VillageMD. You have some other partnerships, similar partnerships. Will those continue as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I say they're different models with different purposes. So we continue to work with Humana as the owner of, or the main owner of Partners in Primary Care. I think we extended by 3 more practices there as well. And we continue to be committed to developing that relationship, as I know they are as well. Of course, we have some tests in the ground in urgent care, which are still there. But I want to emphasize the scale we're going at and the pace we're going at and the focus of our investment in the development of the model is primarily with VillageMD.
You also had a major announcement about the second phase of the digital transformation of the company, working with Adobe and Microsoft. Maybe you can tell us what that's all about.
So we set out really a couple of years ago to really start to develop, the next phase of our digitalization strategy. We announced a significant deal with Microsoft. It was both on the retail side, but also on the healthcare side. And on top of that, we've been executing our mass personalization plans. And the concept behind this is a really simple one. With a pharmacy brand like Walgreens, people want to have personalized service in a physical store, but they also now want to have personalized service on an app.
Mm-hmm.
That starts with things like personalized offers, and then it moves into personalized products and solutions, and then a whole holistic view, maybe a platform view for that customer.
And how, I mean, that seems like a tremendous challenge to do personalization on that huge scale. You guys are confident that's something you can bring off?
Well, it comes from people trusting us with their information, and us demonstrating trust back by treating it with real care and with all the regulations around privacy is so important. So the success of it is due to the technology that enables it, but also the mindset of the company and how they treat people and how they care for people, whether it be an individual in the pharmacy or whether it be the information we get from them. And we're pretty confident, like I suspect all pharmacies will be confident, that people trust us as pharmacists, therefore trust us with information. And that allows us to personalize health and make it easier and more convenient and lower costs for people to be able to get the health care they need.
Mm-hmm. And you're starting the personalization push in the US around healthcare and pharmacy. And in the UK, it's going to be, in Boots in the UK, it's going to be more beauty focused. Is that accurate?
No, I would say for Boots, there'll be more of a beauty flavor to it,
Mm-hmm.
because Boots is a big beauty player, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, as we've spoken about before, that we see it through the lens of the customer. If you take skincare, customers see skincare as a product or a category. It starts off in healthcare
Mm-hmm.
and ends in beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And they often don't differentiate between both. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that Boots has got a much stronger beauty proposition in the UK doesn't mean to say that they're not incredibly important in healthcare. They are. Boots is a famous healthcare brand, particularly, of course, in the UK, but also internationally. So I would say that it starts in healthcare in Boots with a stronger beauty flavour. And of course, in Walgreens, we've been building up the concept beyond pharmacy into healthcare. And of course, we've been doing stuff in skincare in particular in the beauty strategy, as you know.
Let me go back now to the brick and mortar stores. I know you're also working on formats, trying different things. Maybe a couple of your programs you might comment on. One is you're experimenting with small format stores. What do you hope they'll do for the chain?
It's all about convenience for the customer again. I mean, again, I stress again, of course they are more flexible formats, but again, in the modern world where we have the ability of a very flexible and quick and agile supply chain, including drive-through, and in a modern world where we can provide a more convenient but also a more personal, smaller store and more open relationship personally, we think is important.
You also are doing experiments with, and some of them are beyond the experimental stage, with the likes of Kroger and FedEx. Maybe you can talk a little bit about how some of those programs are progressing.
Yeah, starting with FedEx, I mean, for sure we're scaled with FedEx.
Mm-hmm.
We're in almost every single pharmacy. We're seeing a significant uptake of the service, particularly during the pandemic, particularly for returns, interestingly, because obviously a lot of people are at home. But sometimes these products aren't right,
Mm-hmm.
and it's quite awkward to get them back, and therefore we're providing a convenient drop-off points for customers in our communities, and that's working very well, and FedEx are pleased, and we continue to develop together an integration for their business partners and for ourselves as well, and the customer, of course. Integrated app will be very important. I think also with Kroger, you know, we've got pilots in 2 markets. They've been running for about 18 months. It's called Kroger Express, where they have replaced their curated range for our consumable and food offering, including fresh. And we're really pleased with the performance. The customers are enjoying the experience of getting, you know, a well-known food brand and good customer value inside of a very convenient pharmacy-centric health and beauty offer.
Mhm. And are these partnerships doing, in general terms, what you'd like in terms of increasing store traffic and I assume increasing front-end sales as well? By
Yes,
having,
they are. But remember, our philosophy, we speak about this a lot about partnership, is that we're focused on what we're good at, which is pharmacy supply chain. We're, as a group, we have a lot of wholesale capabilities, a lot of relationships with manufacturers, and we're applying that, of course, in what we see as a big and important, our most important American market. And then we're leaning into other partnerships to help us to build best-in-class propositions.
You mentioned omni-channel. Obviously, consumer behavior has changed a lot with COVID-19.
Yeah.
Maybe you could talk a little bit first about how it affects what's going on in the stores and demand there, and then Walgreens omni-channel business and how that's grown and evolved during this whole situation the last few months.
Yeah, it's probably a tale of two things that have happened. The first thing that's happened is that people have really found our pharmacies and our competitors' pharmacies, to be very honest about it, a safe haven during this crisis. They really trust pharmacy, and it's been, for me as a pharmacist, fantastic to see that happen. So when people were looking for care, convenience, and safety, they came to pharmacy. So that behavior, which is in many regards a digital initiated behavior, but the experience is still physically in their local community store, speaking to the people they trust, including the pharmacist and the people who support the pharmacist, has been fantastic. And should give all pharmacy out there the knowledge that they are an essential part of the community and an essential part of the country. And we know that already. And I think it's fantastic, Jeff, that you continue to tell that story so well.
Well, thank you.
Dialogue has its place, of course it has, and other companies who are primarily online have their place. But physical pharmacy and human contact are still really important, and no better place than your local farms to come for that.
Well, if I could interrupt a little bit, maybe you could, and I don't mean to break your train of thought, but I know Walgreens has played a big part in trying to get testing up and out across the country. You want to touch briefly on those efforts and how they're going?
Yeah, and again, I want to call it a big call out to again to the industry, particularly to Steve Anderson and NACDS and all the team that supports Steve. We've tried for a long time to lobby in an effective way that the pharmacy can do more. And 10 years ago, the industry was really successful where flu shots were allowed to be done by pharmacists. And now, why wouldn't you go to your pharmacy for a flu shot, particularly next season, for all the reasons we know? So we're now out there. We're going to be in every state by the end of this month. Maybe one exception, but every state. We've clearly developed, the drive-through model in a safe way for our people and for our customers, and we're also through NACDS, as I said before, lobbying the government to make sure it's not just nurses and doctors who can do testing and appropriate treatment in the future. It's an opportunity for pharmacy. Provider status has been a big deal in our company, but also in the industry.
Well, let's hope the policymakers remember this, once the crisis is over. So,
and the industry as well. I hope the industry remember. I hope the insurance companies, and I hope the PBMs, and I hope the doctors remember it as well. We need people on side, not just the government. It needs to be a collective recognition of the role of pharmacy.
Absolutely. And now to jump back, and I'm sorry to be scrambled, but omni-channel. I think you were going to talk about omni-channel before I interrupted.
Yeah, well, I think omni-channel, is the integration of the physical and the digital. And pharmacies and Walgreens are beautifully positioned because we're deep into communities, both in terms of physically and emotionally, as I said before. when you've got that sort of network, then you've got to layer up with the most modern technology. We start that journey.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we are replatforming our farm system, which is not an easy task, but the team are doing a great job there as well, and that's coming through as well. So once you've got these modern platforms, you put on top of it, you know, like a bit like an Apple iPad, you put on top of all of these applications that light up and give the customer in that locality a lot more things they can do. And then you get it all in one super app. That's omni-channel. So we've got the physical locations, we've got the great people, we've got stores, you know, which are forward distribution hubs in the truest sense for health and beauty and convenience products which are appropriate in that community. And we're building a super app.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to watch that unfold. One final question for you, Alec. One of your other strategic priorities is to manage costs, to save some money. I'm wondering, can just tell us briefly what that plan's all about and what you're going to do with the savings? What's the plan to invest in?
Well, I think the investments are spoken about a lot. I think it's about our digital platform. You know, as I described before, I won't go into that again. You can see the announcements we're making. You know, these are significant investments that we're making in software technology and of course the tools that our teams need and our customers need to be able to access that data in the right place, the right way to personalize the experience. The other areas we're trying to work on, of course, is to really invest in our people and in our products. It's not easy when you're taking a lot of cost out of the business, which we're doing. And we're doing that, of course, during a period where there's been enormous structural change around pharmacy. I don't have to tell you about the strength of the reimbursement pressure that the industry is feeling, and we're not exempt from that, as you can see. So therefore, we're making the necessary changes to move the costs that we have today and move them to the new models that I've been speaking about. That's easy to say, but not easy to do at scale. But I go back to the amazing strength of our team, particularly our teams in stores. But you know, I remain in awe of my colleagues in Walgreens and all they're doing at this time in the pandemic, and awe of how they're also dealing with the level of change that we're driving through, and they're putting together to create real transformation in our model, which is really exciting for all of us, and I'm eternally grateful for everything that they're doing for us right now.
Okay, well, Alec, thank you for your time. It's always great to see you.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff, and good luck. Stay healthy.
You too. Thanks.